Alright, what's up guys? We're gonna do my transformation sequence where I turn into Retera. He gives me superpowers. Alright, you ready for it? You ready for it? Alright, now I'm Retera. So, we got this request today. Retera, how do I code a point capture system? That's the question. And I don't know, so let's do it. We're gonna make a point capture system. Let's make a farm that you can capture. It's a capturable farm. Alright, let's do it. It's a farm. We're going to make it down here. We're going to scroll right down to where it says name. We're going to call it the capturable farm. It's capturable now. That's what it is. I have no idea how loud this music is for you guys. Tick, tick. Alright. Same volume for me, you know. Alright, so I got my capturable farm. So that's pretty good. It's a farm. Now you're going to be able to capture it. But the other thing you want to do, so we want to get the matrix here. We want a timer bar for capturing. You know, how are we going to do that? Actually, what we want to do is we're going to run this application right here. With this application, I'm going to get us a timer bar. That's what I'm going to do. Boom, timer bar on its way right now as we speak. We're going to be coding JASS, which we can't really do in World Editor anymore because this is 2018. So I'm going to pull up Notepad, which has a JASS plugin that I think I forgot to install. So screw it. I guess we can't do that. We'll just type it in Notepad anyway. Alright. That's fine. I don't care about that. I'm more concerned about, I found that my monitor looked like it was starting to die. But we don't care about that either. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to run this program right here. This is what we're doing. And we're going to get ourselves the MPQ browser. This is, I think this is like patch, I don't know what patch this is. This is not patch 128. This is an old patch. It's an old patch. It doesn't matter. So we're going to go to the UI here. And we're going to get ourselves UI glues loading load bar. Let's see what it is. Which way is zoom in or zoom out? I mean, that way I guess is zoom in. Here we go. See guys, this is what we need right here. We're going to have this little load bar. It looks about like that, like so. Which is pretty good, but not quite good enough. So we're going to look at its nodes. And what we want to do is we want to scale it up. So let's save it as a load bar. Alright, let's do that. We're going to go in Warcraft, Models, and I'm going to call this load bar. Boom. Now what we need is MDX Scaler. MDX Scaler. This is a program I wrote a while ago. It scales your models for you like a boss. And we're going to download it because I think I never downloaded it before. Honestly, I've never used it before. I always just use Matrix here. I don't know. So we're going to do that. We're going to get Matrix Model Scaler thing. Let's try one here where we just click the scale button. We see what happens. You know, we'll make it pretty big. I don't really know exactly how big. Not sure if I care. Great, so we do that. And then we need to transpose it to face forward. Which means we need rotational type in, which I think is here. We're going to do 90 degrees. That's not the right one. Alright. Rotational, what do you think? X or Y? It's probably Y. Nope, it's not Y. Let's do 90 degree X. Great, now it's facing us. This means that we can stick it on a billboard node, which is important. So for that, we're going to import our billboard node from, I don't know, some spell effect. What's a good spell effect with the, you know, like the advanced depth tower. And we're going to get the billboarded globe plane. It always faces the camera. That's exactly what we need. Alright. Glow plane. Are you there? Glow plane? I think he is. Alright, we got ourselves the glow plane, friends. We're gonna leave behind everything else. We don't need anything else. Everything else is gone. No other stuff from this death coil missile. Alright, great. So we have our glow plane right there. Now we're gonna save this as load bar 2. That'll give us the special ability to use the edit and delete functionality, which should let us. There are nodes. I was looking in bones. Our objects. Alright. We're going to do set parent of all. We're going to set them all to the glow plane. Finish. That ought to do it. Wait, this thing rotated itself. Why did it do that? I didn't rotate it the right way. Alright. We can fix that. Let's do like minus 90y, right? Yeah, that's how that should be. It's probably about right. Let's put this in the game, folks, and we'll see if this is how we want it to be. Load bar 4, right there. Alright, we'll get a load bar 4. We'll see if it's what we want it to be. I hope so, you know? This is going to be our progress bar that tells us how captured the farm is. Dubba to make the game cooperate. Appreciate code. Alright, this is a good song. That's what we're doing here. We're getting ourselves a load bar. You gotta watch out. The internet makes you go insane. Modern internet is not old-timey internet. It makes you go insane. Don't use it. What are you doing right now? You're watching my video. Alright, I get a fire, which does not have a looping sound anymore. Rip that. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our load bar. Look at that little load bar. It looks exactly how you think you want it to look, only not orthographic, so it's really sad. Let's see if birth looks any good. 23 seconds. That's really long. But I think it's slowly filling up. It seems to fill outward. I'm surprised. I'm surprised. That's not what it's supposed to do. What about load generic? What does that one look like? Oh, this one is a little bit more involved going on here. That's not what we want. I don't know. It doesn't really look very good. It would be really nice if we could make it look better than that. So I think that's where it's time to use MDX Scaler. Oh, I didn't run it as administrator. Get out! I don't need to run it as administrator. Alright, let's see. Custom. Oh, no. Okay, don't read that. Alright. Let's see. Models. I hate Microsoft. They give me notifications. Your computer should not have notifications. Okay, if you want to be notified, look it up. Duh. Alright, this is my load bar. Scale now to 30 times scale. Okay. That's not enough. Undo it, and then scale. Wait, undo doesn't even work. Alright, let's scale it. No, get out! Let's scale it 10 times more. Alright. That's how it should be, folks. Load bar, MDX scale. Okay, so that's my MDX scaled load bar. Now we're gonna open that. Great. That looks more like how it should. We'll also notice that it's scaled in the other direction. So really the problem is this is made for orthographic mode rendering, which the game doesn't do except on the menu screen. So we need to condense all of these suckers right here so that they're all like condensed. See? We're going to condense our little load bar so that we have ourselves a nice little load bar that looks more like you would want a load bar to look. And then let's check those animations. Look at that load bar, okay? That is a load bar, my friends. That is how it should look. That is a load bar. And it has a birth animation where it loads the bar, and a stand animation where it's done. Perfect. Now, I would say maybe just for good measure, we'll do a scale compress. Come on, scale compress. Oh no, okay, I gotta select it all first. Scale compress, make it even a little bit better, hopefully. Just even more how we want it to be. And then we're gonna want to do that where we do a rotational type in. rotational type in, and I need to get this right this time, that 90 degrees X is not correct. Is it? Yeah, it's like one step in the direction of being correct, but it's not really correct. Not really. Because the problem here is that this thing scales in the wrong way. So, like, we're going to save this as great load bar. But if I were to just rotate this thing and make it face camera, it'll not look good, I'm pretty sure. Let's check the animations. Where are you? Here you are. I mean, stand still looks good, but what's the odds that birth looks good? No, birth looks stupid. Alright. So we have to rotate the animations with it. Let me show you, here's the cheat way. I don't know, do we want to do the cheat way, or how do we want to do that? How do we rotate it? And rotate animations. It's pretty tough. I don't know about that. So, I think what we'll do is we'll hit the F key and we'll select only the root billboarded node that I don't have anymore. So let's import from load bar 4, I think. Sure, that looks good, right? We'll leave everything out except for this guy. That's the guy we need. See, now it always faces camera. That's how it should be. This gives us another superpower on top of that. We can take this guy here, and now we do a rotate type in. Get a load of this. X rotate 90. Not yet implemented for animation. Who wrote this software? You're fired, whoever that was. You didn't do it right. It doesn't work perfectly. Does this work? That doesn't even work. Okay. Nothing works on this. Well, that's a problem. Alright. We'll work around it. We will work around it. We need a farm node. Let me tell you, friends, sometimes you need a farm node. Alright? It's like, you're probably thinking you don't know what I'm doing. That's okay. I don't know what I'm doing either. We're going to get main beam from the farm. Oh, wait, I hit the wrong button here. We just want only main beam. Alright, great. Now I have main beam, so I can modify my environment to put main beam as the one who parents to plane 6, and everyone else parents main beam. See, that's significant. Because that means I can edit main beam. That's really what I wanted to do all along. To be totally honest with you. Is just edit main beam. Because now I can spin it. Which means I can grab this, spin it like that, try to get 90 degrees as best as I can. Try to get it over here as best as I can. It still doesn't look how I want it to look. Here we go. In the birth animation, it's great, except that it's backwards. So, you know, we just gotta fix that a little bit. Which I guess means we just do this and make it go the other way. Like that. And then we'll move it and put it in the center. So it's this little bar that every time we click play animation, fills, and it always faces the camera just how you would want it to be, just exactly how you would want it to be. And I think the last thing we're going to need would probably be that our little filling bar needs to be in the same place in stand. And to do that, we're going here, we're going to copy, we're just going to copy, not the frame, just main beam. And then we're going to animation select stand, where this thing's going to go back to hokey pokey everywhere. We'll paste that in, and that'll be how you want it to be. And then we have birth and we have stand. There you go. That's right, folks. Now I have great load bar 3. Alright, now I have a loading bar. Now to test my sanity, the way that Matrix Eater is supposed to work is that you put it in Warcraft, and immediately your model works. The same in all the programs. That's an imaginary concept, and it's not true. So let's find out how it looks. We just need to put great load bar 3 on this guy. Well, that didn't look the same as I wanted it to look. Let's have a look here. Alright, actually that looks pretty good. So what if I give it like scale 4? It didn't affect it at all. There we go. See? Big load bar. Ha! Now I have a giant load bar in the sky. So, you know, and sometimes you learn stuff. I think we just learned that it's a little small. That's okay. We're gonna go to the load bar. And we're gonna hit this. And we'll make it bigger. Or maybe a little bit bigger. I don't know how much bigger to make it. It's really, actually, it's a pretty good size ratio. Alright, we'll make it like that. That looks pretty good. Great load bar 4. Great. So now I have a great load bar. I don't need to make it scale 4 anymore. We'll go back to scale 1. So that's probably a good width, right? Yeah, it's just going to be taller. That original width was for the loading screen of the game. Here we go. Now I got my gray load bar. Alright, so I got this gray load bar, and I can put this over a farm. I saw them do this. Spellbound, this guy I know, does this. He puts the load bars on the units like this. So we're going to have a load bar over the unit's head, and then we're going to have it fill while you stand next to the unit. And when it fills, you gain some kind of ownership indicator of the unit. So for the ownership indicator, we want to have the reincarnation like effect, that splash effect of reincarnation. Now, I don't remember if that's built into the little stone models, you know, the gravestone, the effect of reincarnation. This little stone, right? Here we go, the death animation of this reincarnation thing, right? We want that, but we want it to be player color. Player color. Alright, so let's do that. So it'll go like with a player color once you capture it. You know, that's how it should be. So let's go get that. Alright, for that we gotta do model. We gotta do abilities. Let's see, abilities. Reincarnation. There you go. It doesn't look quite the same in the Matrix Eater yet. As I was saying, this is not a perfect program. Also, I think the game was using black team color, so that doesn't help me, right? It's actually a little bit more like this. But I don't have particle emitters, because I didn't put those in yet. Because I didn't copy enough of Ghost Wolf's code. Sorry, guys. We'll get there later. So, we have this little cross with the light on it from Reincarnation, and it's got some semblance of team color, but it's not that team color. The other thing is, this is going to be boom splash capture effect. It's the boom splash of a capture effect. Notably, we don't need any of these animations except death, and we're just going to change the name of death to be birth, because, I don't know, just a birth animation, where it just does that. That also means we don't need the gravestone and we don't need the vines, right? We're just making a model of the splash effect. Oh, I gotta get rid of those little rocky things too. Wait, wrong button. This guy, Grave 1 ball. Alright, that's gone. So now we just have this thing, which has birth, where it goes like Reincarnation. But the point I'm trying to make is we want to just make it solid white color, and particle emitters don't benefit from color. Or I guess player color? Want it to be totally player color? Can we do that? I don't know if we can do that. I don't know. I don't know if we can do that. Like, how do we make this thing show who captured it? You know, it needs to be the player color of capturing player. I don't know. I was thinking we would tint it to be the color, but actually, why tint it if we could just use player colorness to begin with? So maybe we'll just save it for now. We'll just use it. I'll just import that in the map. That'll be what we're using for now. So we're going to use Boom Splash Capture Effect. Unfortunately, actually, I need to change it. Now it's Boom Splash Capture Effect 2. So let's go back to that. Boom Splash Capture Effect. You're gone. Now it's Boom Splash Capture Effect 2. Listen, I'm rocking out to this music. It's pretty good. I think it's Elon Musk's girlfriend. That's the music artist. It's great. I mean, Elon Musk is a genius, right? Alright, let's see. So, I got my capturable farm. Now what I need is a radius around the farm, but when you step in that radius, it's going to capture. So for that, we're going to go back to MPQ browser. We're going to get one of these guys. Where'd that guy go? Where'd I put my MPQ browser? Is he gone? It's not good. He's not supposed to be gone. Browser. Unit browser. Do we have that? We don't have any of these. Whoa! What's going on here? Maybe it's in use by this one or something. No? There's just not an MPQ browser at all. Here it is. I don't know. It was hidden for some reason. Alright, let's close some of these. We don't need the unit browser. We don't need that many MPQ browsers. So we got an MPQ browser, and what we need to do is we need to go and get from the UI, we need to get the hero selection circle from the alpha. It's not in the real game, but it's in the alpha. So we're going to go to, is it a widget? Glue? It's not glue. It's not glue screen. That's not right. Tooltips? Human? No. We gotta bring back animation previewer. This guy. We gotta put this in here somewhere. Alright. Let's see. I'm gonna go to previewer and I'm gonna tack this on the side. It's like Magos, right? That's how it should be. But we do need, realistically, the guy does need this in his life. He needs an animation controller. Alright. Great. So now we're back here, and it's like feedback is what we actually want, right? Selection circle hero. That's what I'm talking about. We're gonna have this thing. See? And it does this spinning. Then we're going to spin it to show you that you're capturing it, right? Because you need to know that you're capturing that farm. And I think it maybe needs to be a little bit bigger. I don't know. So this one, maybe we can just put this in the game. There's also selection circle enemy. You see, what we really want is we want to have the larger one. We want that. And it needs to be the color of the player who's capturing it, which is key. Right? And we're not using that one. That looks gross. So, let's see. This one is a red texture. This one is a white texture that colors itself green in model code. So we're going to save this one. Hopefully this has... Oh, this doesn't have the larger just one. Why don't they do that? Okay. We're going to fix it, folks. We're going to have the largest one with the white color, because that's what I want. Great, so now I have the large one with the white color, and this means that I can have larger white capture circle, so we know that we're capturing it. Awesome. So we're going to save that capture ground indicator. But couple other things. We want to just take out of this model code all the animations except larger, which we're going to rename to stand, because larger is not an animation name. This is from the alpha. It's not used. Great. So this is the stand. So we're going to save that as an MDX because my thing defaults to MDL because it's insane. So we do that, and now I have the capture circle ground indicator 1. Awesome. And what I'm going to do with that, this is what I'm thinking. Like if I put it on the peasant for a second. Right, boom splash effect, that's great. That's like once you capture it. Capture ground circle, our friend here, is going to be... Oh, he's got interesting shadows. Let me push enter on this. So it looks like this, but what we want to do, like if it's the red player, we're going to make it like red, so you know red is capturing it. Like if it's the green player, we're going to make it like green. Or like if it's the pink player, like then it'll be pink or purple or whatever. So it's going to be capturing in the color of the guy who's capturing it. We're going to do that. So that's pretty good. So the next thing we need to do is we need to get Warcraft 3 player color codes. Let's see, color tags and line breaks. Awesome. In hexadecimal. This is stupid. Of course, these are all the old ones. They don't include the new ones. That looks pretty good. And then the other thing that we need is set unit vertex color. JASS manual. Yeah, functions in common J. Set unit vertex color. Boom. So this takes 4 integers, which are not what we have on this page. But that's probably okay. We can work around it. Did they change these later? I feel like they changed those later. This guy. Oh yeah, that's a good joke. That's a good joke. Look at that. This is the future of Warcraft right here. What a good joke. Alright, no, we're not doing that. Alright, this is so dumb. Alright, we're not gonna do this. Here's what we're gonna do. I need to get the latest version of my code first. We're gonna do that because we're gonna use the patch 130 game repository datas because we need patch 130 for this because I need the colors of the players. I need them. So I'm gonna put this in Warcraft data or whatever. This is gonna explode. Say, oh no MPQs because we're on patch 130. That's okay. I talked to the guy who makes Hive Workshop. He told me that he thinks I'm Radagast the Brown. I don't really remember Radagast that well, but he seemed crazy, so we're gonna be crazy and we're gonna do a little bit of code. So let's get me get bash. Great. Alright, never mind me just doing crazy things. Let's see. For those of you who understand Git, I'm just doing an update. We'll see my Git status is apparently really bad. That's a lot of change. I didn't think I changed that much. Alright. Let's see. Yeah, star Java. What about now? They added like nothing. Added layer and material. What do you suppose we changed here, folks? Let's see what we changed. World editor doodads. I did not change doodads. That's a joke. Nothing about doodads changed. Alright. We're good. We're good. We are good, folks. At the end of this video, I'm going to cast Flame Strike. Just remember that. Remember that. That is the highlight of our day. At the end of the video, I'm going to cast Flame Strike. Alright. Let's see. So, we did that. We're going to add all this. We don't care. Add that, add BLP IIO. Great. So I have everything. We're going to commit that we fixed the things. Added PNG open file function. Alright, great. So we do that, and then we're going to pull down the other one. It's going to get mad. Yeah. Fix the conflicts in a binary? Are you kidding me? Just fix it. Thank you. Alright, I think we're good here, folks. Now what I can do, run this software. Cannot find Warcraft. Really? You could not find Warcraft. I told you where it was. It's in Program Files, Warcraft 3. Like it is every time, on every computer, of almost every person. Now it tells me there's no MPQ. Really? I question that. Because what about a casket? It's a cask. I put my cask in a casket. Okay? Give me cask. It's cask. Okay? Don't do that. Don't tell me that. Now we're gonna load. I'll just keep going and cask load. Success. Alright, we're on patch 130 now. Which is great because we have all the player colors, right? Now this is very important because then what I can do is I can go to Warcraft scripts, or I'll just make something called scripts local. I already got it right here, scripts local. I don't know what this is. Let's make a new one called get me the colors. Okay? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to every player color from 0 to 20 XD, whatever it is now, 26. And we're going to get all the team colors. And we have a way to do that. VLP handler. Really, this local scripts thing isn't compiling against my library repositories? That's horrible. Let's give ourselves a library of repositories. Great. VLP handler. Get. And what we're going to do is we're going to get a game texture. Replaceable textures, command buttons, not command, sorry, that's like old habit, it's a joke, right? Command, every time you type replaceable texture, you type command buttons, surely. No, okay. Team color plus, we need to have that extra 0 in there, plus I dot BLP. So we're going to do that, but we actually need to say string integer text equals I if integer text length is less than 2, integer text is prefixed with a 0 plus integer text. Great. And we'll put that in place of I. Oh, integer text has to be integer.toString of I. Dumb. Alright, let's see. So we'll do that. We'll get all of the images, game text, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do game text, and we're going to do get RGB in the center of the texture. Width over 2. Game text get height over. Come on. Game text get height over 2. Great. So we do that. Okay. This is going to be our center RGB. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sys out set unit vertex coloring capturable. So what we're doing is we're writing the JASS for us. It's going to be the capturable unit, and then let's see. The other thing we want to do is in mainframe color, not that color. Player. It's not mainframe, it's main panel. Color, team color menu. See, this is where what we're going to do is create team color menu items. So the important thing is that when I'm creating the team color menu items, we're going to get web string unit color, this thing right here. So what this allows us to do, and this is color number, that's I. So this is name of color. which means that we can have in our generated code a comment that tells us what color it is. So I'm going to say color name, player color code. We'll do that, and then we have set unit vertex color to the RGB, which is probably an RGB, so probably I would assume that this would be plus center RGB on my computer, center RGB, and 0xFF0000. So we're bitmasking it out of the binary here. We right shift that by 4. We get the RGB in there. That's great. And that'll be the red, and then we'll have the blue integer. Now the blue integer is almost completely identical, except this is not 4. This is not 4. Sorry. Half the world is laughing. This is 16. It's bytes and bits going on here. All right. This one is what's 16 halves 8? It's 8 right there. We do that plus center RGB, and this one is just not anything. It's just 0. Right shift 0. All right, we do that plus comma 255. I mean, solid transparency thing, right? We put that in there. We run this, okay, and then it does a bunch of horrible things. And then there's no west string unit color 0. I guess this needs to be the integer text. They probably use the integer text. That makes sense. Get me the colors, computer. Get me the color. Oh, look at that. You can't find player color 26. Alright, that's okay. Here's the main point of what we have here. Oh, I should probably put call set unit vertex. Gosh darn it. Your alternative realities for Dickens. Alright, Dickens chickens. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to copy that out of Insane World. No? Yes? I don't care about that. Alright, here we go. So this, we'll just give this some highlighting. This is the set unit vertex color for each player code color guy, right? But we can do better than that because we actually want if statements. So what we're going to say is, if the color equals the thing, if player index equals I, then do this. Then call set unit vertex coloring. Great. Else if. Oh, it needs to always say else if. Every single one is an else if. Except the first one. If I equals 0, sys out. Or if I not equals 0, sys out else if. Else if. Alright. And at the end we could put end if. So they're telling me that there's no color thingamaboozit for 25. So I guess I need to only go to 24. That's just stupid. I don't know. Sure. So what we have here now is the generated JASS code that we're gonna have a function that takes player index. So let's have a function color by tint by player. Takes unit capturable integer player index. Returns nothing, right? So that's our function, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the end function. We gotta do that. This is probably a valid JASS function. I don't know. Let's put it in the world editor, see if it blows up. So basically, I've just used the computer to generate automatically everything that I could want for coloring a unit based on a player. And let's put back this. There's something wrong with this. I'll show you in a second. We got to do something else. That's okay though. Alright, what we want to do here is, I just want to see, is this valid JASS? Did I forget anything? You might be watching this, you probably already know. This program is so bad. Alright, I'll just keep trying to copy-paste here until we get a copy-paste. Alright, tint by player, load bar. Alright, great. That is valid JASS code. So we have created a function that does exactly what we want it to do. Now, the next thing that we want to do is we want to actually change this to Blizz set special effects vertex color. And to make sure we get that right, let's go ahead and we'll jump back to common, get our Blizz set special effects color. Is that what this thing does? Set special effect color by player? Did they already code what I'm doing? I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find out right now. Because if they do, you know, you learn something new every day. Alright. Local effect, my effect. What do I want to call it? My effect. Alright. Equals create special effect. I don't care about that. Alright, create special add effects. That's right, it's add effects. Add special effects. Name XY. When I was younger, I would have known that. Alright, add special effects. Particularly our capturable thing. Ground indicator. It's going to indicate who owns the ground. Ground indicator. Here we go. Alright. Ground indicator 0, 0. There we go. Now what I'm trying to do is let's set it to player 3 so it's really obvious. Call Blizz set special effect color by player. My effects player 2. Right? Color by player. There's nothing else in the API that's called color by player. Now, I don't know if this is a tinting functionality or if this is a player color functionality. Who knows? If it's tinting, that's insane, and I don't know why they thought that was a good idea they would do. No, it does what I would have expected it did, but it was named by someone who didn't know what they were doing. Because we would call that team color if you were used to this game. Alright, so we're going to do that just to be totally sure of myself, actually. Let's go ahead and let's back it up and let's put a peasant and we'll see if he is a teal peasant. I just want to be really sure that I'm not crazy, that they're not doing some crazy thing. Alright, let's see. Peasant. In the old days, I think this used to be, it used to need to be MDL on the end. It looks like now they support MDX. That's kind of funny. Alright, there should be a teal peasant in the center of the map. I don't know, maybe he'll be not teal. We'll see. Alright. Yes, there is a teal peasant. That is exactly how we wanted it to be. Now, we're going to get in Crazy Town here. We're going to copy, we're going to take my special function, we're going to change it to work on an effect instead of a unit, right? We need that to happen. So, we're going to go back to this capture indicator for our test, and we're going to test it on an effect instead of a unit. Now, to do that, I'm just going to name this FX, and I'm going to call Blizz set special effect vertex color. Actually, it's not even vertex colors, it's just a set special effect color, because we're not consistent with units. Set special effect color, yeah. Also, the API should have been set effect color, because the type of object is called effect. Typically, in the rest of the API, special effect meant something added by scripts, and spell effect meant something added based on spell data. But Blizzard didn't know to do that, because they don't care. Alright, that's enough of me preaching that I wish they were smarter, because I don't need to preach. Alright, get me the colors, application. Get me the colors. Alright, great. Blizzard set special effect color FX. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open up a copy of our function guy here. It's not that one though. This one. I'm gonna put our new code in it. And then we're gonna get our function header. And this is gonna be tint effect by player color. Takes effects that I literally just named effects. Alright, let me just tab that in here and end function. And that ought to be our code. So let's put that in the map. See how badly it explodes. Too many arguments given to set special effect color. Really? Oh, alpha is a separate function. Thanks, you. Whoever came up with that idea. Alright. Wrong tab. Alright, this tab here. We'll just go back over here. I like this song. It reminds me about the impending apocalypse of how computers will be able to code better than you, unless if you outsmart them somehow. It's up to you to figure out how to do that. You only live once. Blizzard here with their Chinese characters, I'm not sure they are outsmarting the computer. Alright, great. We'll save that, and we'll just run. We'll see. I don't know why I ran it. Actually, I didn't set up the test correctly. Because what we need to do is we need to find out, does my new function work? So this is called tint effects by player. So what we need to do now is called tint effects by player. We're going to tint my effect, and we're going to tint it with player 2. They're starting at 0, of course. And what you'll notice is that it's going to hopefully teal color this stupid thing without using team color, the actual team color. Because what I did is I wrote code that went in all the team color texture images and pulled out their color pixel values and wrote corresponding JASS so that I can tint whatever I want, like this, to be teal, like the teal player color. And I did it with 130 data, so I should be able to run it on lavender, player 20, which of course would be 19. So if I type 19 in here, my generated code that I did not write, based on the game, will know how to do purple stuff in the center of the map. I mean lavender, not purple. Purple would be player 4. Look at that, that's lavender colored, like the lavender player. So what we have now is we have the ability to put a spinning indicator corresponding to player color. And yeah, we're going to do that. And by doing that, we're going to give ourselves the way to know that we're capturing the farm, as well as the load bar over its head that's going to tell us how captured it is. So, alright, 1, 2, 3, let's do it. In order to do that, of course, we're going to need a JASS thing to code some JASS on. Now, I really don't like not having syntax highlighting, so I'm going to use like one of these. Alright, great. So we're going to have a library called capturable, capture point. Library capture point. Alright, great. That's our capture point. Now, of course it needs an initializer, because that needs to be what we have. So we're going to have private static, it's not static, private function init. You'll have to forgive me that I haven't written JASS in quite some time, and I'm going to get this probably wrong the first time. Okay, great. So we have our initializer. Now in our initializer we need to set up a trigger. And actually, I'm not even sure we do. We'll get back around to that. So we're going to have globals that may or may not all end up being private. But in particular, what we want to have with our initializer and this guy is we want to have a function that is going to be public that you can call anywhere, that is going to be make capture point. And it takes unit capturable, returns nothing. It's just going to take a unit make capture point, or something like that. It's going to make a unit a capture point, so it's a capture point that you can capture. So in order to do that, we need a trigger. So sure, let's make a trigger. Trig T. That doesn't matter. Create trigger. The key to this trigger is going to be called. It's going to be call unit enters region event. Let's see. Trigger register unit in range. Yes, trigger register unit in range. Alright, great. Call trigger register unit in range. So we're going to put on that trig. We're going to put it on capturable. And we need to have the range, right? What else do we got on here? The range and the bool expert. Great. Exactly what you would expect. So, this actually, we're going to delegate to our user here the range. We're going to give him that. So he's going to give us the range. And then we're going to give it our bool expert, which that's going to be key. Because this gets into what is our data storage mechanism. So I'm going to make a private hash table called cp hash equals init hash table. And I'm going to do that because it's easy and I don't want to think about it. So I got cp hash on here. We're going to use cp hash because our trigger is going to want to know. So our trigger is going to want to know our guy. So like store unit handle, right? We're going to want to know who capturable unit of that trigger is. So that's going to be in cp hash, and then we're going to have to store it to get handle ID of the trigger as 0th item is going to be unit handle. Great. That is perfect. And we're going to put the capturable unit on there. So we got our unit handle on cp hash, and it's going to be stored there, which now gives us the ability to have a private function capture point enum takes nothing, returns nothing. It's going to run on our guy, and we're going to have local unit enum unit equals filter unit, because everybody says that you need to use. Whoa, I didn't even know you could do that. Go back. Alright. Everybody says you gotta use filter unit instead of enum unit, because alright, so we're gonna do that. So we got enum capture point enum, which also means we can probably make a global private bool expr. Am I allowed to do this? I'm gonna find out. Capture point unit enum equals bool expr capture function capture. Great, so we're going to give that to this, so it's recycled even, not that function, sorry, this one. So, yeah, so when a unit comes in range, it's going to run this thing. We're going to have local trigger trig equals get triggering trigger. We're going to have that. That's going to say then that when we get in range for our trigger, or when we get in range, we're going to know who that is. Capturable equals load unit handle, which is going to be from cp hash, get handle ID of the trig, and it's going to be the 0th item. So now we know when we get in range, what is our enum unit, what is our capturable unit. What are we going to do? Boom. So this is where each of our capturable units needs to have a way to know who's standing around them, who's within that radius currently. And you also need to know who leaves the range. Is there trigger register unit out of range? I don't think there is. This is a terrible API. Someone give me trigger register unit leaves range. Please. Please, my friends. Why do you do this? You're not as good as you should be. Alright, so for that we're going to need a timer, because reasons. Private timer leave region timer equals create timer. This makes everything bad, and I don't like it, but okay. Private group. The capture points group. It's going to be a group of all the capture points that we're going to process with a timer. Head disk. Okay, so we're going to do that. That's why we need our init function, because in init, we need to call timer start, maybe? Probably, I suppose not. It would be wiser to optimize. Freaking optimization. Alright. Yeah, let's just call timer start. Let's see. Timer start. We use 4 arguments, right? This is the timer. Leave region timer, and what else is the time, and whether it's periodic, and the callback. What the heck is the order on that? It's probably the order I just said, but it might be periodic first. Let's see. Native timer start. It is not periodic first. I'd have been fine not to look that up. All right. Timer start. We're gonna run. I don't know. Every 0.03. No. Wait. Actually, no. Every like 2 seconds. It doesn't matter. All right. Every 2 seconds, we're gonna see who left. That's gonna be great. That's just absolutely gonna be great. That's something else that we have to do. That is something else. All right. This is such a terrible language. And using Lua won't fix it. The API is bad. There needs to be trigger register unit leaves range or something. Or maybe there shouldn't be any of those and it should all be lower level. I don't know. It's bad. Alright. True, it's periodic. Function. Timer, callback. Private function, leave timer callback. Turns. Okay. Later, someone who cares more will probably optimize this not to have the timer always running or whatever. Alright, so, I mean, the most important thing is that when you get in range of this guy, you should start capturing, right? So, when you do get in range, there's a couple cases here, right? So, this gets into, like, there's all this logic regarding entering and leaving, that we're going to do that, we'll do that, but you got to think about, I'm sort of sidetracking myself here, what is that logic really doing? So when we do enter, we do leave, each of those should fire an evaluation of who remains within the area, right? So we'll do that. They say that first of group loops are a good thing. But in order to do them, you have to remove things from a group. Which means I need 2 groups. Which is ridiculous. Alright, well, we'll do that. We'll try that. We'll have a temp group. It's just the backup temp group. Alright. So I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm trying to think, what is our function going to do that is process tick or something like that, right? Takes unit capturable. It's the capturable unit. So, I mean, my thought is we're going to take this capturable unit. We're going to say who is currently around him, and what do we do about that, right? Now, if it's already owned by a player, then that player keeps it, unless he has no units around it. That's probably what I would do, right? So I get in there, I capture it, now it's mine. Unless I have no units around it, in which case it's no longer mine. So let's define our hash table per unit values. So we're gonna have private integer. Well, that would be capture point unit, which is attached. Capture point unit equals 0, which we'll use in our this guy right here. But we're also gonna have, this is like attached to trigger. Okay, and now we're gonna have attached to capture unit. Alright, attached to capture unit. So for that, we're gonna have an integer that is capture unit, I don't know, capture point. So like the 0th thing will be current owner. That's gonna be the 0th thing. Then we're going to have ownership ticks. There's going to be, should be between 0 and 30 or something like that. So we're going to have like our tick maximum. Let's see, this will just be constants. Oh yeah, that's right, there's a constant as a keyword, right? Private constant. Alright, private constant integer, private constant. So here we're going to have private constant integer, capture max ticks. Which is 30. Should be between 0 and capture max ticks. The idea being that we're gonna, once I start capturing it, if no one else is, it's gonna progress bar up to 30. Now when someone else starts uncapturing it, it's gonna unprogress bar back from 30 to 0 because they're uncapturing it. That's what I'm thinking. That is what I'm thinking. That is what I'm thinking. Alright, so we're gonna do that. That sounds pretty good. That is what I'm thinking. That's right. Capture ticks. We'll tick it here and back again. So, that's a very simple implementation, but I think it's all we want to do. Because when I look at how they do this stupid enter and exit logic, like, it's just my plan on the video camera, but I don't like it. So, we constant integer here. Next guy in our capture point is going to be capture point nearby unit group, right? So we're going to have the group of units who are near to the capture point, right? That just makes sense. You got to have that. It's a necessary evil to know who is nearby. Now, if you're crazy in your crazy town, you'll probably have a group recycler magic, but I'm not going to do that. All right, so whoa, don't hit buttons. All right, that's a good start. We have who's nearby, who's the current owner of the people who are nearby, and what are the ticks of progress that are going to count up and down. So we're going to have that. That's a good start. And this is going to be process tick. Now this is where I got to use the temp group, right? Because we're going to have local group, nearby unit group. And that is going to be load group handle. And we're going to load it from the capturable unit, from cphash, from get handle ID, capturable unit. And we're going to load it as the unit group index, right? It's the unit group index. The challenge being, right, if we want to do this, I guess I should probably also have local integer current owner index. It's a player index. I mean, later probably this will be a player instance, I assume. For now, it's an integer, because math reasons. If you look at StarCraft 2, which is how everything should have been, players just are integers. There's no difference. It's ridiculous. Why would there be a difference? Alright, local integer ownership ticks. And that is going to also be almost completely identical, except we're going to load ownership ticks. So we're going to do that. And that is the variables we're going to be using to process the current tick. So here's the interesting question, right? We got to ask ourselves, what's currently happening? Is the current owner index undefined? Which that's another problem. Here, let's have current owner index use GUI indexing so that 0 represents no owner. Okay, we'll do that. So when we load that player index, we'll do -1, and then we can say if current owner index equals -1, right? Then we have an else, we have an if. So this means no current owner. Nobody has captured this thing yet, right? Which we're going to also say that that means they're not even progressing towards capturing. Just no capture, not yet. Great. That just reminded me of the next things that we need to have here. We also need to have capture point ground indicator, and we need to have capture point loading bar, which would of course be 3 and 4, so that we can have those as attached effects. Great. Capture point ground indicator and local effect capture point loading bar. Great. So I have a ground indicator in the loading bar. Now, we look at that current owner. What if it has an owner? Okay? There are 2 cases if it already has an owner, right? Okay, 3 cases. Either he is currently capturing it, right? Or he's already got it. Or he's currently losing it because he doesn't have any units in the region. Those are our cases. If it does have an owner. But if it doesn't, it's easier. Because if it doesn't have an owner, then there are 2 cases. 1, nobody is nearby, so nobody cares. And 2, there is somebody nearby who's going to start to try to capture it. Or 3, there's too many people nearby of different kinds, so they can't capture it because they're both standing there. Great. So to do that, what we're going to do is, yeah, let's look at the units. And that's where I've been trying to think, what is the best way to do this, right? I guess what it gets to, really, is that if you just keep an indexed array, maybe, of how many of each player's units are in the region, you could do. Because that way you don't have to worry about all the dumb stuff. I think I'll do that. You know what? I think I'll do that. No, I can't do that. Never mind. Oh, that's stupid. I wish I could do that. I can still do it, but it's more stupid than I want it to be. Alright. Humbug. Yeah, I think we can still do it. So, this is crazy. In order to do this owner indexing correctly, what we gotta ask ourselves is, with these units, do we know if anyone can capture it right now? So for that, there's in there BJ get max player count. Get max players player count. Get players. It's the number of players. Get BJ max players. This guy. Get BJ max players. Yeah. Let's do that. BJ max players. We're gonna use that. Right? Because here's what we need to do. Local integer I equals 0. Alright. End loop. Alright. Next to when I equals BJ max players. Set I equal I plus 1. For each player, we want to see how many units that player has in the circle. Right? So to ask myself that question, how many units do I have in the circle? We're going to load the integer, which also means we're probably going to need a Boolean. Maybe an integer? Next owner index. Something like this. So next owner index, we're going to say if load integer capture point nearby unit counter count. Sure, count. Alright. Load integer cp hash get handle ID capturable capture point nearby unit counts. So we're going to do that. We're going to get nearby unit counts. And if nearby unit count is greater than 0, then set next owner index equal to I. Right? Just for good measure, we're going to put a set I equals 0 up here in case like the function gets really long. Alright, so we have that. You ever have one of those days when you want to just go in here and change BJ Max inventory to like 12, get like 12 items at a time? I mean, wouldn't that be fun? Don't do that though. That's a bad idea. That will never work. Alright, let's see. So we got the max player count, blah blah blah. And that's pretty good. And now we're going to loop through and we're going to see how many units do we have of each amount, of each player's units. And when we do that, we're going to get next owner index to be that number. However, if next owner index is not equal to -1, then clash of ownership. Right? So in this case, and that's where it's the else case, if there's not. Actually, I mean, we could still set it, but next owner index is now clashed. Local boolean owner clash equals false, and this is where we're going to say set owner clash equals true. They're clashing for ownership of that area, right? So if that happens, we've detected an ownership clash. And if we have an ownership clash and nobody owns it, let's just leave it there. Why the heck not? So if that happens, let's not do anything. You know? Sounds good to me. But there's another case. What if there's no current owner and there is not an ownership clash? Right? So, if not owner clash and next owner index is not equal to -1, then we have a special case. This is where it's time for someone to start capturing the capture point. In such a case, we will set capture point ground indicator equal to add special effect equal to the one we were testing with in the game. This guy right here. But instead of 0, 0, we're very carefully going to use get unit X on the capturable unit. That's what we're going to do. And we'll do that here with get unit Y, capturable unit. So we give ourselves this capture point ground indicator. We also want to have the capturable overhead progress bar. So set capture point loading bar equal to add special effect. For this one I need to go get it back out of the import menu. Great load bar. It's great. It is the greatest load bar. It's great. Alright, great. Put that in here. And we'll get unit X and Y. And we'll put those in there. And we'll put that. So now we have the great load bar. That's great. So I have this great load bar, which is just a great thing. And ground indicator, which is also a great thing. And this is a point where we got to ask ourselves, what else are we going to do with that? So first off, the loading bar, I need to use all the new functions that I don't know very well. So they're new. Blizz play special effect. Blizz set special effect. What am I looking at? I'm looking at the wrong one. Blizz set special effect. Time scale to 0. And set animation, please. Enum type, please. Why not a string? You think you are smart, C++ programmer? Then why do I disconnect in the game when I play it? Alright, enum type birth. That's pretty good. Alright. blues play special effects. Loading bar is going to play enum type birth, and then blues set special effect time scale. Load bar to 0 time scale, and then call blues set special effect time. This guy is going to be time 0 because we're starting over at time 0. That's right. So we have time 0 load bar that we put right there. That's great. Now that we have this load bar, oh, there's another really important thing we should do. Add special effect. Add special effect. Targets is what I should have used. We're going to do overhead, which is fine. I just got to do target. Put on the capturable and put on his overhead. Overhead. Great. Alright, capturable guy over his head. Now we're going to do store effect handle that we're going to store because we need to do that. So that's going to store the effect handle, right? Where am I going to store it? I'm going to store it in CP hash in the handle ID of capture. And I'm going to store it as capture point ground indicator. And I'm going to store the ground indicator right there. And we're going to do the same thing. Capture point loading bar. I'm going to do that with the loading bar. So we do that. Now I have both of the special effects. And that's pretty good. But we're also going to store in CP hash to our handle ID guy. And we're going to store it as ownership ticks. Ownership ticks as 0 because we're restarting. And we're going to set current owner along with ownership ticks. Current owner we're going to set to next owner index, which we already checked. We're under an if statement. We know next owner index is valid. Great. Let's save this because why not? I just push save. All right. Warcraft scripts .j .js. All right. This is going to be live capture point.j. Awesome. That's my file. So we're going to keep working in this file. We have successfully made the ability to start capturing something. There's still a long way to go. Sorry, I had to do a little dance. Alright, so we got that. Now, what I'm going to do with my capturable stored integers is we're processing the tick. I was just thinking, while my little dance had a purpose. While I was doing my little dance, I was thinking about whether process tick should be the same as the lead timer callback, whether it should just be the tick of the system. That's the kind of garbage code we expect in JASS, right? Everything in all in one function. I don't know about that. We'll get there. No. The answer is no. I'm getting too far ahead of myself. Process tick is specifically pertaining to processing a capture bleed. Alright. Just processing it. Like, that unit, at a point in time, what are you going to do? You have a tick of time. Well, what we're going to do is if we have no owner, and it's uniformly all one player's units in the area, then there's not an owner clash, and we're going to start giving it to that player. We've got almost all that code worked out, but we still need tint effect by player. So we're going to do that on specifically, just from this new function I added, tint effect by player, capture point ground indicator for next owner index. which will give it the color of the guy who is now capturing it, right? Which is pretty good. That should be good. But there's the other case. What if there is an owner? Alright? That's really interesting because you might have the case where the owner is winning, but you might have the case where the owner is not. So here's something interesting that I'm thinking of doing. What if we say, this is again meant to be a simple example, that if I have this capture point and I defeat all the other units, so it's only me on the capture point, and I start capturing it, and the bar starts going, and somebody else comes up and he contests it. Now he's standing in my region. What if we say that the bar stops while he's standing there, but doesn't turn backwards until I have no units in the area? Right? That seems pretty logical to me. So, in order to make that happen, we need to look for that on a case-by-case basis, right? If he has no units, the bar's not just going to stand there. It's going to tick back. That supersedes anything about contesting with other people. So, for that, we need to look up load integer, which brings up another point. Nearby unit count was supposed to be plus I. That was significant. Alright, so now what I can do using that is I can do the same thing. So load, what's the number of units of my guy? So instead of pasting this clash and ownership loop, we can first say, if you own it, right? However, despite you owning it, there's nobody else of yours in the region, which would be indicated by load integer cp hash plus current owner index. If that value is less than or equal to 0, meaning no units, it should never be less than 0 actually, it should always be equal to 0. But, catch our mistake. So if that happens, and there are no units there. In fact, let's put equal 0, so if it breaks, it's really obvious. Alright. So, there's nobody there. In that case, there's nobody, I'm the guy who captured it, but all my units left the area. Then, it's going to start ticking back down. Supersedes everything else, you're going to start ticking back down. So, for that, we need to know, what is our ownership ticks? So that's where we say, if ownership ticks is greater than 0, then we're going to reduce ownership ticks. Ownership ticks equals ownership ticks minus 1. And we're going to set the loading bar equal to load effect handle, which we're going to load from cp hash from get handle ID of the capturable guy. We're going to do that. It's going to be capture point loading bar. So we're going to get the loading bar, right? We're going to put that in the loading bar, and we're going to say, alright, that's my capture point loading bar. Now let's set his time indication, which is a number out of 24 for some awful reason. In fact, let's not use 24. That's stupid. Let's use a good number that is not 24, which just requires a little tweak to this silly model we have right here. I don't know why zooming into that makes it disappear. I don't like that. It doesn't happen over here. Alright, great. So here's the birth animation, which is apparently 23.4567 seconds long. I don't know who does it. Who comes up with this stuff, right? Well, let's make it out of 100. And that makes perfect sense, right? That makes perfect sense. So I just need to get gray load bar 4. And I need to go to tool, change animation speed, and we're going to make birth 100. Right? Great. Now I'm going to push OK. I'm going to double check if I change animation speed again. That's 100. Great. Cancel. Alright. So I'm going to save this as great load bar 5, because why didn't I do that in the first place, right? That's just logical. Alright. So we're going to get our great load bar, and now we know set special effect time is very obviously out of 100. We're going to go back to our code, and we're going to set great load bar model equal to 5. What I was using here, great load bar 5. Alright, cool. Gray load bar 5. So we're going to set the loading bar equal to the number of ticks, which I suppose suggests this 30 should be 100, but for now it's going to be 30. So let me just put this as ownership ticks times 3 because that's easy math. So we'll go up to 90 because load bars. It works. Alright, I'll get back to it. We'll make it not 90 later. I'll fix it or something. Alright, so basically the ownership amount of ticks is going to be how ticked the load bar is, right? And specifically here, we're ticking it down, so we need to refresh it with that number. Alright, great. We're going to do that. Now, the second thing we're going to do is, what? What is the other case? This is all in the case that the guy doesn't own it. If he doesn't have any ownership ticks, it's not above 0, he's lost it. He's lost the capture point, and we are taking it away from him. In such a case, we're still going to want capture point loading bar, so I think we're going to be playing with that in either case. But we're going to also want capture point ground indicator now, which we're not. We're loading it. We're going to load the effect handle. Capture point ground indicator. Boom. Alright. So if that happens, we'll have both of the effects. I'm going to call destroy effect, and I'm suddenly going to regret not putting a death animation on that little floating load bar. This is true. I'll get back to that. We'll get back to that. Actually, no, let's do it right now for something. Alright. So for that, we just need to import any death animation of anything and have it not be used. I don't know, like some kind of spell effect that disappears. The death animation of this can't be much, right? It disappears. Alright, great. Death animation. Not visible. Actually, is it one of these things I better have like a death animation where it's just totally gone? Come on. Nope, okay, that one goes split. What this? Death animation is just gone. Oh, it's blinking out though. Like we want, yeah, this thing's death animation. It's just nothing at all. Just nothing at all. Okay. I don't know why I have to choose death animation again. That doesn't really make sense, does it? Alright, we're gonna import death animation. We're gonna say in the imported thing, everything is not visible. Alright, great. So everything disappears. And that'll be great bar 5, great bar 4 that I think is 5. And our other model, which is capture point ground indicator 1, has the same exact problem. So we're gonna go ahead and import from, how about locust missile? Null pointer exception. What kind of null pointer exception is that? That's ridiculous. Thought I fixed that a long time ago. Alright, we'll use this one. Great. So now it has a death animation where it disappears, which is exactly what we wanted it to do. Great. So this is capture point ground indicator 2. And so now that's a little confusing, but I'm going to import my capture point ground indicator 2. Now I'm going to do replace on my great load bar 5. Great load bar 5. And actually, let's call it load bar 6. So now we'll change it to load bar 6 and capture point 2. Great. And now they have death animations, so they'll disappear, which is what we want them to do anyway. So then we'll destroy effect of our capture point ground indicator, and we'll destroy effect on our capture point load bar. Then subsequently you destroy the game unless you, I think, flush stored effect handle thing. Flush stored. That's a game cache. Really? Am I using the game cache method names? It's saved, not stored. Oh gosh, dang it. Clear saved. Saved. Have saved. Remove saved. Remove saved handle. That's what I want. We've also highlighted a big problem. Call store and all of this should all be call save. You know? Stores call save. Okay, good. Now this is remove save handle. Always do that. Don't ever not do that. Capturable. Capture point. Ground indicator. And we're also going to clear. Not that one. The loading bar. So basically, when those reach 0, boom, they're going to disappear. Because they're no longer captured. Kind of makes sense, right? Maybe later we'll put on like some permanent indicator, but these are just like while you're capturing it, it's really obvious what's happening. So that's what happens in this case. However, we need the else case, right? What if I own it? I'm capturing it right now, but I do have units there, right? Now, there's two possible cases. One, someone else is contesting it, and they stop me from progressing, right? So I don't make any progress. Two, they're not doing that, and so it's going to increase. There you go. There's another thing that just occurred to me. Actually, this case we just saw might have a side effect of what if, as you're counting it back down, you're the first tick down from maximum? What if you've captured it to the utmost? If that happens, I have to put the loading effect, floating capture point load bar back, because you might not have it. You know. Excuse me. So, let's do that. If ownership ticks equals capture max ticks. So like if you have it, you own it, you have all the ticks. Right? Then we're ticking down. This is back in the other case. I forgot this. You capture it completely. It's yours. I think I'll leave a little spinny indicator on the ground with your color. Just let it. But we'll start counting back down the ownership ticks. And to do that, we need to make the bar reappear. So we're going to put the loading bar back for that case. That requires this stuff, which creates the question, why don't I just make a function, create load bar, private function, add loading bar, and takes unit capturable, returns effects and function. Local effect capture loading bar equals add special effect. So that's my loading bar, and then we tell them to do birth animation, and we tell them don't animate time and be at time 0. Then we return the effects, which is great because I don't set it to no, because I hate this language. Set BJ last created effect equal to capture point load bar. Set capture equals null. I didn't even do the nulling of things yet. We'll return the global. Ugh. Alright. I did that, Blizzard. I did that for you. Are you happy now? I hope you are. I hope you are. I hope you are, Blizzard. I hope you are. Alright, great. Ownership ticks. Now we'll count back down because this thing here is going to be add loading bar, and it's just going to take the capturable unit. Is there anything else that this actually needs? There really is not. Alright, great. Add loading bar. Let's do int ownership ticks. so that we set the time to ownership ticks times 3. That little star 3 in there. It'll be easy to search for star 3 when we want to fix it. Alright. So, that way we're going to add loading bar at 0, but in this case, we're going to call set capture point loading bar equal add loading bar, where the ticks are going to be capture max ticks. Although really it shouldn't matter because this should handle it right here. This guy should handle it. We'll get back to that. It'll be working right now. The biggest challenge is we need save effect handle on that guy, so we stick them on. So we do that, and that should round out the case of no units. You leave the circle and you start losing points. But what about the case that it's contested, right? So this is where we need to know if it's contested. Because it's contested, it should start counting back down. Really. Or not counting down. Actually, contested is the case where we just freeze it. It is not contested and not owned. So in particular, this is actually going to be else if ownership ticks is less than capture max ticks. Because if you get capture max ticks, right, if you have all the ticks of capture, then it doesn't matter if there's someone else in the circle stopping you. As long as you have a unit there, you're going to keep owning it, which is pretty powerful. So that's like the way to win. It's like capture it completely, right? Then they have to kill you to start taking you back. So we're going to do that with ownership ticks is less than capture max ticks. Or yeah, and it's only in that case that we're going to run this loop again. And we're going to try to figure out, does our opponent have anybody in that circle that's contesting it against us, right? And if they do, we'll call it an owner clash. So this loop should be pretty similar, right? We're going to loop for all the players. We're going to get our nearby unit count plus I, where I is the player we're looking at. And we're going to do through all the different players. And we'll find what's the next owner index and is there a clash. Now, notably, I don't think we actually care about next owner index. In this case, we're just going to use it to detect a clash. We're not actually using it for changing the owner because there'll never be the case that it's not us. Like, if we're the guy who's owning it right now, then we wouldn't get here if we had no units in this one, right? Because that's handled by this first case. So this should only be happening when it's either contested or uncontested, and it's just me. And the only thing we want to do is say if it's uncontested. So if not owner clash, if there is not a clash, then we're going to start ticking up the ticks. So like if I get rid of all the other people and it's just me in the circle, then I'm going to start capturing it. But, you know, if there is someone in the circle, we'll just not do that. It'll just sit, and it'll just sit there stuck. So that should be good. So that's our not owner clash case. So I'm going to put that in there, and to do that, to do my not owner clash case, I should just need to increase the ticks, which will be really, really similar to decreasing the ticks, right? It'll be just like this right here. Set ownership ticks equal ticks plus 1. But actually, then I'm going to want this capture point loading bar. So we're going to have to load that. Because for some horrible reason, I didn't decide to just load at the start of the function, which is probably what I should have done. Alright, capture point loading bar. So we do that, and we get the bar, and we tick up by 1, not down by 1, because there's no clash. No one's contesting us, and we own it. So we're ticking up, doop, 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 and then we're going to make sure our load bar renders that. And here we want to say ownership ticks, ownership ticks equals capture max ticks. Then, if that happens, if we max the number of ticks that we have, Then we're gonna say destroy effect, capture point loading bar, and destroy effect ground indicator, which also means we need to load the ground indicator. Really should have put those at the top of the function. Alright. Destroy effect loading bar. Actually, no, we should leave the ground indicator, right? We'll destroy the ground indicator if you go all the way to 0, but we'll leave the ground indicator if you get to max. Yeah, we'll just destroy the loading bar. Great. And then what we'll do is we'll remove saved handle of the loading bar because we blew it up. In the else case is setting the special effect time to our time that we're at. Whatever, we're ticking to. So we're going to do that. So this is a function that processes the tick of the capturable unit, given, and this is really important, a loadable list of how many units of each player are around our guy. So we still need to maintain that list of loadable counts of units. So the easy one is going to be this capture point enum unit enters region guide, right? This is anytime a unit enters region. Then what we're going to do this should be really easy. Yeah, I think we're just going to save integer. So CP hash, we're basically just going to say take the capturable guy and give him a nearby unit count. Nearby unit count plus get player ID. Wow. Player ID. Yeah, which is not get converted player ID. It's get player ID. It's get player ID of the enum unit who entered the region. We're gonna do that, and let's see. Prev player unit count, which is where we're going to load the exact same thing, and then what we're going to do is just say prev player unit count plus 1. So what that says is that when you enter the region, when you come in range of the area, right, then what we do is we increase the number of dudes. Now, I wonder if this thing might tell me that this has to be null, and then I have to do a capture point enum has to be null. Maybe this needs to be in a condition. We'll find out. We'll find out. All right. So that's our integer that we're going to save in here. And if we're going to be a zombie lord, we need to do enum unit equals null. We need to set trigger equal null. We need to set capturable equal null to be a zombie lord. Alright. Great. So we'll do that. And now we have units entering the region. Starts counting this thing up. But what happens if the units leave the region? Which is really hard to figure out because we have to do leave timer callback. So the other thing that we want to do here is local group captured, what would I call it up here? Nearby unit group. Capture point nearby unit group. Right? Which we'll just load group handle to load from CP hash capturable nearby unit group. Right? I'll get that group. And what we're going to do is we're going to call group add unit. And then we're going to have to set it back to null. Because null, it's a null world after all. It's a null world after all. Can't set group. What am I doing? Set nearby unit group equals null. I didn't even use nearby unit group. Okay, we're deleting that. Delete it. And capture per ground indicator null. And set too far loading bar. Handles. All the handles will be nice. Great. Alright. So I do that. capture point nearby unit group. But what I want to do that for is to call group add unit capture point nearby unit group. We're going to add the guy who just came in range. That is for our out of range detector, which is horrible, and I hate having to do that, but we do need to do it. So be it. We do need to do it. So we do that. We do group add unit when we go in range, and that gives us the ability to figure out when they go out of range. Alright? That's what it does. Cool. So, now that we have that, leave timer callback. The hardest of all the difficult things. Also, making it capture point needs to do a little bit more than what it's doing right now. We're also going to have a local group, nearby unit group. Is going to equal create group. I don't know why I'm not using structs. It's because that didn't occur to me. Alright. Save group handle, cp hash, get handle ID, capture point, nearby unit group. Great. Nearby unit group. Alright. So we'll stick that on there. So he has this nearby unit group that we can use. Rabble. Local group capture point swapper equals capture point. Capture points. So what we're gonna do, local unit current capture point. Basically, what we want to do is exit when current capture point equals null. Set current capture point equal first of group. Capture points. So the idea here is we have the current capture point is the first of the group, and he is the first of the group. That's right. First of the group. We pull him out, then we check if he's null. And if he's null, we leave. Alright, great. And then we'll just keep doing it. Over and over and over. Cool. I wonder if it would be better if we did this. Awesome. So here's my first group loop. I'm looping through the capture points. And for every one that I loop through that's not null, we call group remove unit capture points current capture point. However, we're also going to call group add unit capture points 2 because I need to keep my group, but I need to loop through it. And the API is terrible, and everyone told me not to use for group, even though I grew up using for group all the time, and I was fine. Painless. I should have done that. Alright, so we're going to loop through the group, and for every guy that we loop through, that's going to be the current capture point. And then at the end of our loop, we're going to set capture points equal to capture point 2. Why is it not plural? It should be plural. Capture points 2. Alright, so we do that, and then we set capture points 2 equal to capture point swapper guy, which retains that original record. So I just go shoop, and I swap them at the end. Now I can loop as much as I want. Alright, great. So I loop through them all, through all the units in my first of group loop. And when I do that, I also need local group nearby unit swapper equal null. So nearby unit swapper is even worse and hackier. We'll get there. So for every capture point, we have to loop through every nearby unit. This is insane. And what we're going to do is local unit nearby unit. Set nearby unit equal to, well, wait a second. I need another local group nearby units. That's right, equals no. Set nearby units equal to something something group. Nearby units will equal load group handle. That's right, which we're going to load from the current capture point. I mean CP cache. I used to use an API that would let me just say it was from the current capture point. Alright, great. We do that, and what we're going to load is going to be nearby unit group. This one right here. So that's the nearby units. And set nearby unit swapper equal to nearby units. And then now we can loop through all the nearby units. Nearby unit equals first of group nearby units. This is all kinds of awesome right here. This is 2019. This feels like 2001. Alright. Exit when nearby unit equals null. And we'll set nearby unit equal to first of group of nearby units. And then this is where we're also going to call group add unit, or I don't know, it doesn't matter the order, right? Group remove unit nearby, we're going to remove it from nearby units. Nearby units from that group, and then we're going to group add units to temp group. Nearby units, and then at the end we're going to set temp group equal to nearby units swapper after setting nearby units equal to temp group. And we'll save the group handle nearby units back to that guy. So we pipe the units through, swap them, just keep going. That's ridiculous, but I think it'll work. And we swap them out with temp group. So we have one global group that we're walking through. We pipe all the units into that, and then we flip them. Then we go to the next guy, we pipe on all of that, and we flip them. It's insane. But it lets me do first of group loops. Alright, so now I have first of group loops. Isn't that great? And that's going to get me here, where I can loop through every single unit around every single capture point. And I can say, are you out of range of the capture point? And if you are, get out. I'm kicking you out of the group. So, actually, specifically, this adding it back thing, we just won't do that if he's out of range. Why is there no distance between units function? That's insane. Distance between points. Okay, I'll make it private for all you scrubs who did the same thing. Distance between units. Great. Unit A and Unit B. Why this is a necessary thing that is not a part of the API? Only because no one cares, and no one is allowed to update the API. Except for the oligarchy in California. The oligarchy has returned, so it's time to pray to the oligarchy. But right now, I'm doing what I'm doing. Alright, let's see. So, that gives me the ability to say distance between units. If distance between units, nearby unit, and current capture point exceeds, what is my capture point area? Why didn't I save that? Yeah. Alright, this one is 6, and this is going to be capture point area, capture point radius. Don't call it area, that's confusing. Is it radius or the diameter? It's radius. So, make unit capture point. Takes real range. That it does. Save real. CP hash. Handle ID trig. Capture point radius. Range, which should not be called range. It should be called radius. So that it was clear that it's the radius. If it is, which is not clear because trigger register unit in range probably calls it range. Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. I'm calling it radius. Anyway, that gives me the ability to load this capture point radius greater than, so that we're going to have a local real capture point radius. Sure. So when we get here, set capture point radius equal to load real. Boom, capture point radius. So now we know what is the radius around the capture point, and I'm going to say if the distance between the unit and the capture point exceeds the capture point's radius, then, and of course this distance doesn't take into account at all collision size, but hand wave, okay? Can you add a native for that? Get unit collision size? Maybe I'll just use it. Get unit collision size. They did. I'm not sure I trust that, but you know what? Let's use it. It's the distance plus get unit collision size of A plus get unit collision size of B. Actually, I guess I need to add that to the distance. Yeah, that's good. Alright. That's about right. That should be about right. If the distance between the units surpasses the saved radius of our guy, then, in that particular case, boop, it's time to disconnect the guy. And it's the else case where we keep him in the list, right? Where we add it back in. So, when we do that, we have to do a countdown, right? Because we did our count up function in capture point enum, which shouldn't even be called capture point enum. I don't like that name. Match case. It's going to be capture point unit in range enum. Alright, great. In unit in range enum, in this function, while we do that, you got to take into account that the guy is saving this integer nearby unit count. And what we're going to do is we're going to save nearby unit count -1 because it's going to go down. Alright, nearby unit count -1. Alright, we'll save the integer of -1. So it's going to count down the number of units. This isn't even the ticks, right? This is just the number of units that we think we have. Because they got too far away. And when that happens, we'll count down prev player unit count. Unfortunately, I need to compute prev player unit count. Which I guess, yeah, let's do it. Alright, prev player unit count, which is going to equal 0 because I need to set it with a set command. Set prev player unit count. S-E-T. S-E-T. Prev player unit count equals this thing. Which this is not called enum unit. It's called nearby unit now. So, nearby unit. So we get the player of the nearby unit from the capturable unit, which is not called capturable. Now it's called current. Why did I do that? Why don't I use the same name? Current capture point should be what that is. So we go to that guy, we get how many units are around him, and then we save that it's gone down by 1 because somebody went outside the range to break the chain. Once they do that, they also are not added back to the group, so he has one less unit of that kind. Great. Then the other thing I'm going to do is we're going to call process tick on current capture point. Need to do that, right? That seems important. Gotta do a dance sometimes. I'll do a light dance. I'll get some light. So we process the tick. We gotta leave timer callback. We do that. We do that. But it was bothering me excessively that I don't think you can use triggering trigger. I think we talked about this. I don't think you can use triggering trigger here. So we're gonna put null in that, and we're gonna call trigger add condition trig. Boom, that guy. All right, great. And then that guy's actually gonna be a condition because why not, right? Cool. So we do that. I think we're pretty close for a test. We're not done. We're not done because we didn't handle units who die, right? That's very important. However, we did do distance between units. So to handle units who die, I think you need Spellbound's his system. He was telling me that they have this ingenious hack that if you give a unit a disabled defend ability, it uses undefend, so you can capture when a unit gets removed from the game. So you can capture if the unit decays or these other things. Although, I guess we don't really want a decaying unit to count for this. That's a challenge. What does reincarnation do? I'm gonna have to test this with a Torrent Chieftain, but okay, I'm gonna do or is unit dead BJ nearby unit because we're gonna get it done for now, and then later we need to switch that to the unit alive native, which I guess is better, probably a lot better, but not currently in my map. All right, so we're gonna test if the unit is dead or out of range, and if it is, we're gonna count down the number of units that are in the area. I mean, this has got to be pretty close to what we want. I think we could copy this and we could probably put it on our map, and it'll probably destroy the map. Maybe, I don't know. Let's find out. That's the fun part. Alright, this is gonna be, what did I call this? Capture points. Capture point. Alright, this is systems. Here we go. System, capture point. Convert to custom text. Delete it all and paste and scroll to the top and make sure you got all your little characters up here. Sometimes the Chinese characters appear. Alright, great. Let's see. JASS Helper's gonna have something for me today. Unexpected if. That's right. That's right. We can't do, I messed up. You can't do else if like this. That's ridiculous. That's Java. This is not Java. This is else if only. In one word. Unexpected equals. Oh, that is terrible. How would I do that? Exit when. My exit when statements have a single equals. That is just. What is this? SQL? Who am I kidding? This is not SQL. We do not do the single equals. Alright. Save the map. Private outside of library. Oh, because finally they turned my stuff into Chinese characters. Thank you, Blizzard. Thank you for that. Undefined type. Condition. Good job, Blizzard. Undefined type condition. What? You don't think common.j has like type condition func at the top? Type condition func. Fair. It is called condition func. That is true. It is not called condition. That is accurate. To the extent that it was decided upon in the year 2000. Alright. Capture point, unit in range, enum. Can't be defined. I expected as much. I remember, if you review this video and you go back to when I typed that, I'm pretty sure I was like, can I just do this? No, you can't do that. Here's what you do. You set this equal to null, right? And then in init, before anything else happens, you set capture point unit enum equal to this guy, 1 equals something. You put that in. That'll probably do it, but you can't do it as a global init block. That's not. Alright. Great. Undefined type int. Oh, I did that? That's pretty bad. That's like what my brother used to do when I thought I was a JASS programmer and he was a scrub lord, and he was like, JASS is terrible. Then I went to college and I was like, wow, JASS is terrible. Victorian himself tried to get us out of it. And he made it better? Worse? I don't know anymore. Alright. No. What are you? Cancel. No. Don't do that. Alright, let's see. Undeclared function tint effect by player. What? It's right here, my friend. Okay. Time for plan B. We'll just copy that into capture point for now. And we'll just put it in here. And if you really want it to be a separate library, you do that. Cannot convert unit to player and get player ID. Oh, that's right. Get player, get owning player. Alright. I think I did that every time I use get player ID, didn't I? We're just talking to the computer. Just talk it out. Just talk it out. Just tell them what you want them to do. Want them to let me go to sleep. Alright, let's see. Undefined variable trig. And wow, is that pop-up yes annoying. Alright, trig. Really? Do not save that on trig. Save that on capture. Are you saving the unit group to the trig? Don't do that either. Only save the capture point to the trig. Now this has nothing about making a unit not a capture point, so you can't turn it off, which is terrible. And you can't kill the capturable unit, so that farm better be invulnerable or replaced by a resurrection stone pretty fast. Alright, resurrection stone. Let's capture a resurrection stone because that way it's invulnerable. Alright, we're not gonna well, you know what? It's called capturable farm though, so I'm gonna be on. You gotta honor your past self. Alright, let's see. We'll make it invulnerable, and we're gonna give it resurrection stone model. Resurrection stone. There we go. That is not a capturable farm. Good thing I know that. That matters. Alright, I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller, maybe. Yeah, look at that. That looks right. Looks like how it should be. Alright. So we got this capturable resurrection stone, maybe. Let's go ahead and like make a trigger that says unit, kill, remove, I don't care. Resurrection stone. Woo! Capturable farm. GG unit Uzuzu. Alright. Now what we need to do is make setup. Put some script. Call unit make capture point. That guy. A radius of 500 for 500 points. So unit make capture point. What do I call it? Yes, unit make capture point. I don't know if that's 500 range, so we're gonna move you away. All right, great. Now is the hard part. To be totally honest with you, we need some like dudes who can capture things, and we need some like blue dudes who can capture things, right? And then we need some green dudes who can capture things. And then we have the question: can we put in? All right, green. I don't know, blue. Blue, green. Alright, and we have like some opponent, I guess, who needs to be locked inside of a giant wall so you can't ever do anything. That's how you do it. You put the opponent inside of a giant wall, and he doesn't bother you. Alright, great. Cool. So we do that, and we go to player properties, and we're gonna make these guys computers. And we're going to make this guy a computer. And yes, we definitely have fixed start location. Everybody on the top is on the team. And they all share unit controls. So that I can make their units capture that capture point. Which should probably be a neutral unit. Just saying. I suppose this thing even has an overhead. I'm not really sure this thing has an overhead. Alright, it's gonna be a farm again. Farms have no overhead. Alright, capturable farm, you're mine. Will it work? Probably not. It'll probably crash the game, but, you know, that's okay. Oh, you gotta build your altar. That's a good one. No, you don't. No, you don't. Here's what you're gonna do, my friend. Oh, you're gonna use that one now. Sure, you do that. I'm gonna go over here and capture this with player 2. So this does have the obvious problem that it doesn't handle alliances, but you know, I mean, it gets us a start on something. Or maybe it doesn't get us a start on something. Perfect. Perfect. Absolutely, exactly how I planned. In every way. Alright, well, it's not working yet, apparently. Let's find out why. Call BJ debug message. Get unit name, nearby unit. Has left the area. We'll see if we got that much right. Leaving and entering. Has entered the area. Enter func done. Good. Let's just check our work. Check that work. With a couple of Chinese characters. Alright, let's see. Enter func done. Equipment has entered the area. Equipment has not left the area. Not one bit. What does that mean? That means bad things. Alright, well, let's focus on that for a second. It kind of looks like my timer never started. Things never work on startup. Let's do a trigger sleep action. That'll do it. Maybe, probably not. I don't know. Might work, never know. If that doesn't do anything, we need to put a logging in the loop so that we know it's firing every 2 seconds. Because else we don't do that. Okay, yeah, we need to do that. I should have done this with an aura buff, and then you just check if they have a buff. Gosh, this is stupid. Alright, let's see. Buff stack. I mean, why wouldn't you do that? Alright, now buff stack. 2017. 2019. I don't know. I don't know what the timer is. Alright, let's see. Leave timer callback. Call BJ debug message. Beginning leave timer callback. Ending loop. Ending leave timer callback. Yeah, there we go. Beginning leave timer callback. Boop, put me under the area. Leave timer callback. It's ticking away. It's ticking away. Probably just forgot to put the farm in the group. That would actually explain everything. Did I forget to put the farm in the group? I did. That would explain everything. Group add unit. Capture points. Capturable. That explains everything. Alright, Footman, get over there. I want to see some kind of graphic, some kind of something. Yeah, look at that. Look at this Footman. Captured it. Now it's broken, so it's spam creating like a whole bunch of them. That probably means that I didn't save the increase of the tick. Let's go check that out. Is that true? I think that might be true. Set ownership tick. This happens twice. Both times I forgot to do call save integer CP hash get handle ID capturable capture point ownership ticks, right? So by doing that, I broke the entire system, but it's very easy to fix. We'll modify those ownership ticks. There we go. Not backed up on the trial. Capturable farm. Step on it. No, it didn't work at all. Did not work at all. That's really odd. Why did it not work at all? I don't know. It's definitely really broken still. Something still's not right here. No, it kind of seems like it's staying in the first case. Current owner index. Did I not save current owner index? Saved it right here. However, remember, this is important. I messed this up entirely. Current owner index is, this is probably why I wondered, is supposed to be Let's see if we, what do we do here? Process tick loads the current owner. So this is actually another thing that's really important that I didn't do right. There are some places where you would think that when we start to lose it, right? When we lose this thing, we set the ownership index to whoever it was. So this case, sorry, not that case, this case. So I decrease the ownership ticks. But if it equals 0, we need to actually call save integer cp hash get handle ID capturable. We need to save capture point current owner is 0, which is like no owner. It's like setting it back, like owner is gone. I also think we should have more of these farms. These are kind of fun. So let me get a couple more interlocking, intersecting farms over here that I can start to capture with different units. So for that, what are the odds is like? Here we go. Kill. When I was a kid, I could click straight. I click something, I would click it straight away. Always correct. Actually, I'm not really sure that that's true. Alright. 32 and 33. 32 and 33. So they should all be capturable now. Maybe we'll take some like teal units and capture one or the other. Super units. We'll see. These are, again, they're not able to sort out alliances. Oh, that's still in the center. That's pretty fun. I'm probably going to have to deal with that. Alright. Let's see if it at least ticks upward now, alright? Hey there, farm. I'm here to capture you. And you. And you. No, it doesn't work at all. Kind of seems like it didn't work the first time I walk up, which is broken. I don't know. No, it just doesn't work at all. Well, I ought to start logging what's happening, and maybe I should go back to one farm, because that was working pretty well. Alright, we're going back to one farm. Alright, we're back to one farm with the ability to jump it back when I need it. And, yeah, I need to do some debugging to try to figure out what farm I do have. What's going on? So, we're going to take that farm. We got to log some of these cases. Let's see. Debug message. So I need to stop logging timer callback. We've confirmed the timer is spinning. So that's happening. 100%. Timer is spinning. So now what we're going to do is we're going to say, what's our case? This case is going to be player is, or what is it? No owner clash, and a new owner is valid. This is owner clash, or no new owner is valid. this case says capture point losing traction, no allies nearby. Right? This case is capture point lost, no allies nearby. Okay, this here is capture point gaining traction, unified nearby units. And else of that would be capture point not gaining traction. Mixed nearby units. Alright, so that's what we have to look at. And let's take it and have a look. Should hopefully be some meaningful information.
Yes, my lady. Right. I know. On my way.
Oh, it's not doing anything now. What happened to my nice spinning loop? Let's get these not in range a bit. Shouldn't there at least be enter func? You get close to it, it says enter func. We did that before. It's a unit in range script. Negative. Now unit in range script. Okay. Capturable farm 000. So I'm calling unit make capturable, which adds it to the list of capture points. All right. All right. Well, we have the current capture point. So, what the heck? Call BJ debug message, get unit name, current capture point. Being processed. Nothing's happening. That old timer's shut down. Is it the 2-second sleep action? What if I set it to 0? That worked before. I'm confused. Why would that not work now? Hey, farm. Hey, farm. It's not running at all. It's not adding it to the group. Unit make capture point. Group add unit capture points capturable. Come on. It worked a moment ago. Adding capture point plus unit name capturable. Suppose I should probably put that in here. Alright, we'll put that here. Adding capture point, not the farm. Oh, the world editor removed the unit because I removed the trigger that said it would kill it. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, Blizzard. Is that what happened? Is this gonna make it say adding capture point farm blah blah blah? Thank you, Blizzard. Yes, it is. Alright, that's... Why exactly do we still play this game? Never mind, I didn't say that. Alright, let's see. So we'll take that off the list, and we'll save the library, and we'll put the library in here. Maybe it'll work. Someday, the oligarchy will be defeated and overthrown, and we will have the code, and we will ask the code what on earth it is doing. We will make it do something smarter. Look at this. Now I'm capturing the farm, my friend. And you see that little bar above it? It's ticking up as I capture it. Now, unfortunately, it looks like the bar should be higher because it's clipping the thing in the ground, which has priority planing issues. But we are capturing this farm. That's what we are doing. And it does not capture any faster when I have more units around it, although it could if we wanted it to do that. We would have to go in and code that to happen. I'm mostly interested in, does it initially appear to work? And I have to say, it does initially appear to work. So the next question is, while that's happening, is it true that we can walk this guy up to freeze the bar? And then he's no longer, yeah, capture point not gaining traction mixed nearby units, right? Which seems like what you would want. And if all my units get away from it, it's going to start ticking down. Because capture point losing traction, no allies nearby, right? And you lose your traction on the capture point until you get to a point where you've lost so much traction, it's going to go to the blue guy, and he's going to start capturing it, right? So that's going to happen. That is definitely going to happen. Unless the teal guy over here tries to snipe it from me. So, and here we see that if I have two enemies nearby, it still falls, because it knows it's red, and so having mixed units doesn't stop the falling action, right? So this becomes the interesting question now of, we fall back to 0, capture point lost, there's no allies. Who is going to win this thing first? And this would probably be the teal guy if he can kill the blue guy first. Or maybe the teal guy and the blue guy could simultaneously start capturing a capture point with a teal and blue attachment that'll never disappear even when they leave because there's duplicate spawns. Awesome. Wait, really? See, now it's an owner clash. Why was it not an owner clash before? Wait a second. Like, if these guys go in the area and then they leave, it's no longer an owner clash? What is that? How did the teal guy get in there and not get registered? That's what I want to know. Or the blue guy? The blue guy got in there and didn't get registered. I don't understand that. That doesn't seem right. Alright, well now if the teal guy kills the blue guy, it's gonna start capturing. Okay, so it didn't double spawn. Actually, what we see here is just a strangely colored... No, I'm not sure what we were looking at. We got an owner clash, because apparently the teal guy's computer, when he killed the unit, said he should walk away. So I guess that's what happens. If you walk away really fast, you can get to where it doesn't count you. Or something. What is it doing? Why is that something that happens? He walked out of range, and then he lost it, and then he came back in range really fast, and he didn't like start gaining it back. Yeah, like that. How did that work? Okay, Footman has left the area, losing traction. Footman has entered the area. It did not say Footman entered the area in there. It didn't fire him entering. So what that tells you is that my radius of leaving is not sufficiently large. That it's actually smaller than the radius of entering, so he's able to leave while he's still inside. Which you wouldn't really want it to be like that. You want it to be the other way around. Right? I'm also still really curious how the blue guy, when he started capturing it, made it simultaneously blue and teal. That really bothers me. So, let's go ahead and we'll kill the teal guy. Because, too bad for the teal guy. And then we'll give it to the blue guy. We're going to do that. And then we'll see if the blue guy's spinny circle of claiming actually starts to look good. Or if it looks the same as it did before. That I don't actually know. Alright. This is invulnerable, right? It's an invulnerable, capturable farm. Now at this point, I did not code that the red guy, that the red guy starts capturing because he has 2 units, right? He has 2 units and the blue guy has 1 unit, and that means there's mixed players, so nobody captures it until one of them dies. That's how it was currently coded to be. So capture point is now lost, so now the footmen leave, and the blue guy starts capturing it. So I think what we saw before, okay, the blue spinny guy looks kind of teal. I don't know if I like that. I'm not sure why the blue spinny thing looks so teal. It's way too teal. It really is. Anyway, what that means is that it was not as broken, ever, as I thought it was. We simply have observed the case that the capturable farm has a smaller radius to go out of bounds than it has to go in bounds. And somehow my attempt to get unit collision size and sum that to my distance function did not work at all. Although, I do kind of like the way this little bar looks, right? I mean, it's got that little sparkle on it as it gets towards the end. It's kind of fun. And literally, I mean, that's just a loading screen bar, right? Like you probably saw in the video, I just grabbed a loading screen bar. Great! So as we saw, it only goes to 90% because I did ×3 instead of doing the math to figure out what percentage to go to. But that's a really easy fix. And it still is going to, like, if you leave it, it's going to start counting back down, right? So it still has that going for it. And even if I get the red guy in here, it'll count down and it'll capture the red guy. And I think we're going to call it a day. If this counts down to 0 and starts capturing the red, I would say that our logic is pretty much all doing what we expect. I guess we could bring the blue guy in, try to freeze it, kill the blue guy, and see if it starts counting down. Because it should be the case now that the blue guy's here, that it will no longer... Really? It's still counting down. Well, that's not good for the blue guy. What if I leave the area? It's not in the area at all. It says no allies nearby, but the dude entered. Somehow entrance is failing to detect. See, now it says mixed units nearby. But why can the blue guy enter and not get registered as entering? That's really odd. I don't know why that is. See, I mean, most of the times it picks up on him entering. Something about the entering event, like, failed the other time. Is that something that can happen? I can go out of range, and I can go in range, fail entering. I don't know, maybe it's back to this problem that you can go out of range while you're still technically in range, because the range is apparently not how it should be. Anyway, we'll kill this blue guy, we'll see if the dying thing still works. I think it should, and then I'll start capturing for red, and I'm going to probably call it a day. Obviously, you would want to fix your radiuses of entering and leaving so you don't have that problem. But other than that, I would say I think we have a capturable farm. And I did it all from scratch, shooting you and your like library nonsense and everything, right? Just works. I think. We'll see where we're at. Capture point lost, and boop, it knows it's red. There you go. Starts capturing itself for the red player. Look at that. Isn't that great? Yeah. So I think we call it a day. Now I think I did promise you guys that I would cast Flame Strike at the end of this video. If you recall, I did say that. So let's cast a quick Flame Strike. That of course is going to take a Blood Mage. Needs to be mine, so I can make the cast Flame Strike. Awesome. That's going to be our celebration of more or less coding the system as you would want it to be. Although you gotta fix those radii so that you don't have units registering as leaving and then never entering, because the leaving range is smaller than the entering range, which should never be true. So here we go. This is going to be a great Flame Strike while I capture this farm. Look at that fire. That is a Flame Strike. And you know what I like about Flame Strike? It works every time you cast it. Think about that. Have you ever cast Flame Strike and thought, I wonder if it won't work this time? No, because it works every time. And that, I like to think, is what we should aspire to with our code. Both all the Blizzard employees, I hope they do that, and I hope I do that when I code this thing. So hopefully we'll fix those radii, maybe another video, maybe another day. And we'll get to a point where you can capture all the farms with this capturable farm. So there you go. I hope you have a good day.